Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel Miss Fairy Educationist. Hope everybody is going well. So if you're watching my video from any country, mention your country's name and mention your place name as well. And do not forget to subscribe my channel. So let's begin with the Erik Erikson stages of psychosocial development. So this topic is concerned with the child development course which we study in the first year or first semester of B.ed programs. So let's begin and move forward. So, welcome learners. Have a hello note with me. Okay, so as you know, my name is Miss Very Educationist, and hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the child development theory which we study in first grade. This is the same thing, and this is my picture in the presentation today. So let's begin. I always connect my pictures to make you familiar with myself. So the component which we are going to study today is the introduction, then theory, and then explanation of the topic. So let's move forward. Okay, so Erik Erikson stages of psychosocial development. Let's begin with the introduction. Erik Erikson mentioned that personality develops in a predetermined order, exactly through 8 stages of psychosocial development from infancy to adulthood. During each stage, the person experiences a psychosocial crisis which could have a positive or negative outcomes for personality development. So this is the main idea of this theory. That means that all the human beings have 8 stages of their psychosocial development. So when we are growing up in different ages from infancy to adulthood, we have some different influences on our psychosocial development from positive to negative, and this is concerned with the word crisis in this theory of Erik Erikson. So let's move forward for the further explanation. So each of the 8 stages is characterized by the two contradictory emotional forces. Exactly, that is known as usually labeled as syntonic and dystonic disposition. These disposition causes a crisis or task that we need to resolve or master. Exactly. So let's come up again on the main thing. So what is syntonic and dystonic? Syntonic means that what we respond on anything, and dystonic is what is our you can say what is our result on anything or any response, and what is actually happened to our with our response. These dispositions cause a crisis. Erik Erikson psychosocial development theory, when we resolve this crisis successfully, we gain a sense of competence. Exactly, when we come up with these crises of situation between syntonic and dystonic, so we come up with the persons who have passed and who have such competencies or such you can say abilities to develop from this or pass from this, then they can be a successful person in their human development of psychosocial. And those who may failure to may lead to feelings of inadequacy and a less healthy personality. So let's further discuss with ahead with this picture. So this is a crisis, and these are the approximate age. So first one is the infancy, which means the 18 months of after the birth of any human. So this the syntonic is trust and dystonic is mistrust this time. Why I'm going to ahead. So the second one is the 18-month to 3 years, which is autonomy versus shame and doubt. Then in the third we have 3 to 5 years initiative versus guilt, and in the fourth we have 5 to 13 years industry versus inferiority. At the age of 13 and 21 we have identity versus role confusion, and at the age of 21 to 39 years we have intimacy versus isolation, and at the age of 40 to 65 years we have generativity versus stagnation. So we will discuss it further, and I will explain all of this ahead. So let's move forward. So this is a little bit discussion about this and what happened at this stage. Okay, so at this stage, if needs are dependently met, infants develop a sense of basic trust. Exactly, when the needs are fulfilled, the infant who are developing, they will be developed with the basic trust, like a sense of trust they will have at this stage. If the child will have a basic needs and basic requirement of this stage. And in the second one, toddlers learn to exercise will, means their power and do things for themselves, or they doubt their abilities. Exactly, this is the part of this. The second one, the initiative, sorry, the preschoolers learn to initiate tasks and carry out plans, or they feel guilty about efforts to be independent. Exactly, at this stage people do not let them do their things, and they don't appreciate, they are shy in a classroom as well, or in the home as well, so they are in the guilt. If we do this, then we are maybe scolded by the others, or we may be scolded by the teacher, we may be scolded by our parents. So in the industry was inferiority, children learn the pleasure of applying themselves to tasks, or they feel inferior. Okay, this is the very main stage. And then at the identity versus confusion, teenagers work at refining a sense of self by testing roles and then integrating them to form a single identity, or they become confused about who they are. This is very important thing, that at the when we are in the 18 in our teens, then we are testing our roles and what we actually want in our life. And this is the best stage to develop psychosocially, to have a perfect sense of our identity. And this theory is actually based on the identity crisis of the human beings. And at the intimacy versus isolation, young adults struggle to form close relationship and to gain the capacity of intimate love, or they feel socially isolated. Exactly, at this stage, the psychosocial development leads us to be someone to the isolation and someone want intimacy in their lives. And at the generativity with its stagnation at the seventh one, the middle age discover a sense of contributing to the world, usually through a family work, or they may feel a lack of purpose. Okay, at the integrity versus despair, we reflecting on his or her life. The older adult or satisfaction of the failure. So let's discuss it further in details. Yeah, stage one correspond with Freud's oral stage of development: virtue, strength versus failure, hope versus poor, relationships, suspicious, withdrawn, or you can say possible etiology was socioid and depressive states. Exactly, this is a very depressive state, that child is not ready to be trust anyone. Like when we try to hold a child, they instantly crying and seeking for their mama, and this is the issue of trust and mistrust at this age, which is a very familiar in the children. Then we at the autonomy and shame. It is the fear of attack or overpower. Shame leads to repressed rage and defiance. When we do something and we are very shame, or we will be doubtful, and we are not doing something. So let's move forward. And at this stage, with a sense of purpose versus lack of goals and self initiative. In this age, we start we have some disorders in our, and we do not initiate in things, we are very shy. And at the fourth stage, we are seeing that we are very familiar with the same sex person, we have feeling of intimacy, we are feeling about to build a relationship, to have a friendship, to be in isolation, or to have some relationship with others. Okay, and ahead we have the sense of belongingness, or the sexual identity with a personal philosophy of life, moral values, and we are fully developed at this stage. We have self-belief and some identity. And last, in the next one, is the sixth stage, with the love and commitment versus emotional isolation, self-absorbed distancing oneself. And on the next two stages, we have generativity or stagnation. We have kind of thing that coping with life changes or endures a might life crisis, creating a new need for new meaning and purpose. Okay, at the virtue versus strength failure, we have care for others versus self-obsession, inability to change, care for others, or like we are trying to care about others. At the stage 7, we are having our life with full of everything, and we want to have a good productivity for others as well. And at the 8 stage, which we are the late adulthood, consists of a life rooted either meaning voices disappointment with we of failures, and we start have a lot of wisdom at this time. And we have the fulfillment versus bitter. What I think, at the last thing which I am going to conclude with, that I think that every stage is full of mistrust and thirst. And I felt at this stage that all of these stages are still in my life, and I am facing all these stages on the different periods as well. It is not dependent on any age that I am feeling about intimacy. No, I think that at our late adulthood, everyone is feeling about everything as well. We actually want belongingness at every level of our life. So, but this is the theory. So, that's it for today. And thank you for watching my video. And it's my request you to please subscribe my channels and give me your hearts in my comment section. And thanks you. Allah Hafiz.